Hi everybody and welcome back to the Stamperia Ooh La La mini album tutorial series designed for Scrap and Create. As a reminder, all of the products that I am using from the Ooh La La collection are linked in the description box below to the Scrap and Create website, so you can just go ahead and click on those links to purchase all of these products to follow along with the tutorial. So let's get started. In the last tutorial, we finished the front side of page 1, so now we're going to come over to the back side. To make this sit flatter, I'm just going to open this flap so that I don't have to worry about those flowers being smashed down. The first thing I have here are 2 pieces of my ribbon. These are about 8.5 inches long. I have already marked the center of my flap here and down here, so I'm going to add my adhesive and apply 1 piece of ribbon to each of these. That way it will hold our page closed when it's finished. So I'm just going to place this first ribbon down here, and then the second one here, making sure that they do meet up and are straight and in the center of the page. From my 12 by 12 papers, I have cut this right down the sides at 5.5 inches, and then I did have to cut this a little bit larger than the card to 4 inches. I used my corner rounder on the bottom 2 corners, inked my edges, and I'm going to place this here, covering the end of my ribbon. From the 12 by 12 paper, I have cut this to 5 3/4 of an inch, then I cut a 5-inch piece, then I cut this into 2 pieces that measure 2.5 by 5 3/4. This one is going to go here at the bottom. I'm going to push up against the edge of that flap so that I have my space down here at the bottom, and then this one, same thing, it's going to go up against the edge at the top, and I'm going to have my border at the top of the page. Next, we're going to open up this flap and concentrate on here. I've taken this piece from the top of this 12 by 12 paper. It's cut to 5.5 by 4 inches. And then I used the corner rounder on the top 2 corners and inked my edges. I'm going to place this here, covering the front of this flap, and then I'll come back and add some embellishment. For my embellishments, I have one of the chipboard pieces, and then I've cut these from the collectibles papers. I'm going to create a tuck spot here, and I have this from my 8 by 8 paper that I'm going to use as a journaling card. So I'm going to arrange this first on my page, just layering things together. And I'm going to add this down here. But I want to make sure that whenever this is closed, you don't see those pieces, so it needs to be up high enough. And then this will tuck right in here as a tuck spot. So I'm going to take my pencil and just place a line there. That's where I know I want this piece to be. And I'm just going to mark this so I know where this is going to go. I'm first going to add a little tiny bit of adhesive onto this piece to get this one in place. Then I will do the same thing with this one. And now I will bring this piece in. I only want to adhere down a portion of my pieces. So I'll place these here. Again, double checking and making sure that everything is going to fit correctly. And that looks good. And now I'm going to take my chipboard piece, add some adhesive to the bottom. I'm going to leave that top portion open, and then I will apply this back here to my flap. Double checking one more time, making sure it is hidden. And then my card will go behind it. And you can leave it this way, or you can place it this way, whichever you prefer. Once this is on, I'm going to open here. We're going to place 3 pieces of our blue paper in the center. So for the first one, I have one piece that measures 5 3/4 by 4 3/8. It's the light blue paper, and I'm going to place this here in the center. Then I have 2 pieces. They measure 5 1/2 by 4 inches. Each of them have the corners rounded on 2 sides. So the top 2 corners for the top piece and the bottom 2 corners for the bottom piece. And I've alternated with the dark blue so that it breaks this up. We're going to put these on, and then I'm going to add some embellishments with some of the fussy cut pieces from the collectibles. I have all of my pieces cut out from my collectibles, and I'm just going to start adding them to my flaps. I'm going to start with my macaroons down here at the bottom and add these on, only adhering down the pieces that are on my pink cardstock. So on this first piece is just going to be a little bit of the bottom and the left hand side, and I'm going to adhere it right down to the edge of my flap. Then I'm going to take my pink one and overlap it. So I'm going to put just a little bit on my green macaroon, and then just a little bit on the edge of my pink one, placing it here. And then the same thing with my orange one. I will place a little bit here and a little bit on my left hand side and add it here. And now on this right hand side, everything is open, so the photo will slide underneath of it. I'm going to do the same thing here in the center, but I'm going to place this here diagonally. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here and here, just to catch the corners of this ticket. Then for my postage stamp piece, I'm going to place it here on top of my ticket. So I'm just going to add the adhesive on there and place my ticket down. And then for the top ones, I'm going to place these like this. So I'm going to put my pink one down first. And then the green one on top. And the green one will touch the top and the side, as well as a little bit of overlapping on the one below it. So now this is open, the photo will tuck under, this is open, the photo will tuck under, and this is open. If you want, you can add more embellishments. You can put some flowers on here, but I'm going to leave it as is. Tucking this, making sure everything is closed. Then I'm going to tie this into a bow, and we're going to come back here and add some embellishments to this front part. The first piece I'm going to put on the front is this, and I'm just going to put it right over top of the one that's on here, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Now when I place this piece, you will see that blue bow at the top, but that's okay because I'm going to be placing this bow chipboard piece on top of this anyway, so you won't see it when we're done. Going to open this back up again. I just had that closed so I could see where I'm going to be putting my embellishments off the side, but it's a little lumpy. So this one is going to go on here. I'm going to put my adhesive on my bow. I don't need any on the top because the top pieces will be hanging off. And I'm just going to add this all the way at the top. Now I have my pink flower. I'm going to be placing it here. I've got one of my flowers from my collectibles. I've cut into the petals and I've pushed it up a little bit just to give it some dimension. And I'm going to have this one hanging down off of the side of the flap. Then I have this one with the blue and white flowers. I've also shaped it, and I'm going to have it sticking out here. Now I'm going to close this again because what I want to do is make sure that nothing is hanging off the edge of my page. Because my pages are the exact same size as the cover of my book, I want to make sure nothing's sticking out. And I've got some little leaves here too that I'm going to be putting in. So first I'm going to take this piece and just add my adhesive here on the flat part. And I'm going to place it here just underneath my pink flower. And then I'm going to flip these up a little bit. I'll place this back on just to make sure I have it where I want it. And then I'm going to add my adhesive to the back of my other flower. And then bring this one over here. I'm going to push it up a little bit too. And now I'm going to take my pink flower and I'm going to adhere it down. I'm going to try to get it to be as flat on the base as I can, and then these layers will fluff up. And then I will take my leaf and I want to make sure again that it's not hanging off the edge of the page, but I want it to hang off the edge of my flap. And then I've got one more. And I'm going to add this one. Right here. And then I'll curve it up along with the blue flowers. So this is it for my embellishments. You can add some more if you want, but you want to be careful if you add anything at the top, because if you start to add too much, it will not open all the way. So we have the back side and the front side. Page 1 is finished, and that's it for this tutorial. Don't forget that if you're just joining me for the tutorial series, all of the Stamperia Ooh La La papers, the chipboard and the flowers, everything is linked in the description box below to the Scrap and Create website, so you can click on those links and follow along. See you in the next tutorial.